When you're targeting these natural waterway systems, regardless of the depth, balancing your tackle is so important. And what I mean by that is getting the tackle diameter of your hook length, your hook size with your elastic correct. So whatever species you're actually targeting, you've got that chance of landing the fish, especially on these wild waters where you could have a load of roach in front of you and all of a sudden the bream arrive. You want to have the tackle set up that allows you to use the same rig for all the species that are in your peg feeding. So let's take today, for example. We're on the Aero canal and literally we could hook anything today. We've just had a lovely bream about £5, but I've also been catching the odd roach and perch. But I've got confidence knowing that the setup I'm using just bodes well for all the species in the peg feeding. So let's talk about the elastic first of all. The elastic that I'm using is Preston Slip 6. Now what I love about this elastic, I've got it through an Aero Pro match kit. And what I love about this particular elastic is it's really nice and soft. So when you're striking into fish, regardless of the fish that you're actually catching, it's really manageable. Therefore, you're not going to bump any fish, but yet at the same time, if you hook that better fish, it powers up quite quickly. That means you can stay in control of even the bigger fish that you're hooking into. And that bodes well then with actually the terminal end of the rig. So down here, I've got an 010 fluorocarbon hook length, Aero fluorocarbon, to a size 16 red roach. Now, it's not a big hook actually, it's only a really small hook. And I've caught some lovely fish on that today. Double pinky, single caster, little bits of worm. Just hold that there like that, you can see it. But because I've got the tackle balanced correctly, when I hook that fish, I've got complete confidence knowing that I've got every chance of landing it, simply because of that cushion. If you then go to that higher grade of elastic, something a bit stiffer, there's a chance that you might bump the smaller fish, which is going to hinder your end result, your weight, especially in match conditions. But also, even with the bigger fish, it forces them to fight harder. So when it comes to these kind of wild waters, always think about balancing your tackle correctly. Now also, if you notice, I've got a long top kit set up. Now, I've got it actually set up on a top 4, which in majority of poles on the market is a top 5. Now, the depth of the canal is only 9.5 foot deep, so a lot of people might set it up on a top 4, or in the Aero pole scenario, a top 3. But because of the depth and the size of the fish and the array of the fish that I want to be targeting today, I've got a long length of line between the float and the connector, and that allows me to manage that rig, allows me to work through the swim, especially when it's pulling through. That allows me to work my rig right to the bottom end of my peg where I feel that there isn't any bait, but that's where the bigger fish back off to. And it's really important that, and this is why I've got it on a long top kit, and I've got it on a top 4. Now the beauty about this as well means that when I'm catching the smaller stamp fish, I can swing those fish in with confidence. Fish right up to 10 ounce, I can literally break down, get the top 5 in my hand and swing the fish to my hand. That's making my fishing more efficient, but also it's ticking the boxes for hooking big fish and small fish with a really light, balanced setup.